这个故事如果你听起来不累，那么你的听力水平在生活中是完全够用的。要持续提升英文，记得点击订阅按钮。我们开始吧。
Blood can pull you back faster than any road you have ever walked. The phrase blood is thicker than water sounds calm today, almost gentle, but it was shaped in a world where family ties were heavy and sharp. It came from days when survival depended less on ideas and more on who would stand with you when things went wrong. Back then, family was not a comfort word. It was a force. Centuries ago, life moved slowly. Villages were small, and most people never traveled far from where they were born. You knew every face, every field, every sound at night. When danger came, there were no laws that could reach you fast, no distant help. If someone threatened your home, only those who shared your blood would rise with you. Blood meant the same roof, the same land, the same future. Water meant distance. Water meant people who could leave when the risk became real. In those communities, blood ties were formed before choice existed. You did not pick your family. You inherited them, along with their debts, their honor, and their enemies. If one person acted, everyone felt the result. This is where the idea of thickness began. Blood was thick because it did not flow away. It stayed. It soaked into daily life. There's an old tale passed down in different forms about a father and his 3 sons during a time of famine. Grain was gone. Animals were dying, and nearby towns had closed their gates to outsiders. One son suggested leaving the family behind and finding work alone. Another wanted to beg strangers for help. The father said nothing at first. That night, he divided the last food equally among them. In the morning, he told them they would live or die together. They stayed, worked the land harder than ever, and survived just long enough for help to arrive. People remembered the lesson more than the names. Blood held when nothing else did. But blood also trapped people. It demanded loyalty even when loyalty hurt. If your brother was wrong, you still stood beside him in public. If your family made a choice that ruined your chances, you carried that weight silently. This side of the phrase is often forgotten. Blood was thick because it was hard to escape. It followed you into arguments, into marriages, into futures you did not fully choose. As trade grew and people began to travel, the saying moved with them. Soldiers carried it into camps. Sailors spoke it in ports far from home. Over time, the words softened. They became advice instead of warning. Parents used it to remind children not to forget where they came from. Communities used it to settle disputes without violence. The meaning narrowed, but the feeling stayed strong. There's debate about whether the phrase once meant something different, whether chosen bonds were once valued above family. Words may change, but lived experience kept repeating the same truth. Family ties reach deep. Even when broken, They leave marks. Imagine a woman living in a growing town during the industrial age. She earns her own money, reads new books, and starts to believe she can shape her own life. One day, a message arrives. Her mother is alone. Her younger siblings need help. Going back means giving up progress and comfort. Staying means carrying guilt that never fades. She struggles, delays, and hopes the problem solves itself. In the end, she returns. Not because anyone forces her, but because blood weighs more than plans. This is the quiet climax hidden inside the phrase. It does not shout. It does not promise happiness. It explains why people make choices they cannot fully explain. Blood does not rush. It presses. Every family story has moments where this pressure shows. Years of silence between relatives. A harsh word that lasts decades. Then a moment arrives that breaks the stillness. A hospital room. A funeral. A child asking questions that adults avoided. People come together not because they agree, but because something older than opinion pulls them in. Modern life tells us we can choose our identity completely. We move cities, change names, build new circles. Yet one call, one memory, one face from the past can undo years of distance. The roles return without effort. Son, daughter, brother, sister. The phrase survives because it names that return. When people say blood is thicker than water now, they are not making a rule. They are admitting a truth about themselves. They are saying that some ties do not fade on command. They bend, stretch, and sometimes hurt, but they remain. Think about your own life. There is likely someone whose voice still affects you more than it should. Someone you forgive more than others. Someone you cannot fully walk away from, even when you try. That is not weakness. It is history moving inside you. This phrase has lasted because it describes something older than language. Long before it was written, people lived it. And long after it is spoken, people will still feel its pull, quietly deciding, again and again, how much weight blood still holds in their lives.
能以非母语者的身份专注学习到现在，这本身就是很棒的进步。真诚感谢你的观看。如果你觉得本期内容实用，点赞或留言让我知道你的想法，这对我持续创作非常重要。我们下期见。